In this section, we'll be checking out the unique EnvelopeShaper plugin. What makes it unique is it gives us a way of directly manipulating the attack and decay of our audio signal without using compression and expansion. However, it does have the ability to give us similar results. Better explained, this is an easy plugin that we can use to give our tracks some extra pop and character. Here we have a Latin dance session with some instruments that have a lot of transients. We have a drum set, we have a kick drum and a snare drum sample, we have a percussion section, we have a horn section, we have a bass guitar, and we have a couple of acoustic guitar parts that are sent to a group. Let's go ahead and play it back and hear everything together. Now you may have noticed a few things. Our acoustic guitar tracks sounded a bit dull and motionless. The transients of our acoustic guitar were being masked by some of our other transient material in the percussion and the drum section. We could also use a bit more punch in our kick sample to get it to stand out in front of the mix. And this is where our EnvelopeShaper plugin comes in useful. Let's go and insert it on the track with our kick drum sample. Immediately you'll notice that we have some familiar controls. Our attack knob changes the volume of the transient of our audio signal, the length knob determines the length of the attack or the recovery time, the release knob changes the decay time of our audio signal or the section of the audio that follows our transient, and our output knob is our makeup gain. Down below, we have an output meter and a peak level indicator. Let's go ahead and solo our kick sample and we'll take a look at the attack and the length setting. As we raised our attack level, we could hear that the only part of our audio signal that was affected was the attack or the transient. And by raising it, we heard a punchier sound from the kick drum, and by reducing it, we heard a softer sound from the kick drum. As we adjusted the length, we could hear how it affected the time of our attack. Now we'll go ahead and reset these settings and we'll take a look at the release control. As you could hear, our release knob only affected the decay of our kick drum. When we increased it, it added sustain without affecting the transient. It gave us an effect more like what we would get from compression. When we lowered the release, it lowered the volume of the decay, resulting in an effect similar to expansion. And just as a side note, anytime you increase the gain of either the attack or the release, make sure to keep an eye on our output meter to make sure that we aren't clipping. We'll want to make up for that volume increase by changing our output gain. Now we'll go ahead and play back this kick sample in the mix and see how we can get it to stand out on top of the other instruments and give us a punchier sound. Now that we see how these controls affect our kick drum sample, let's take a look at what it can do for us for our acoustic guitar track. We'll go and insert it on our acoustic group and see if we can get more of the pick sound. It did a pretty good job at being able to bring up the volume of our pick attack. But this plugin really shines when we use it through the sidechain. In this instance, where we seem to be losing the transients of the guitar signal when our drums are playing, we can take our kick drum and send that into the sidechain of the EnvelopeShaper that is on our acoustic guitar track. That way, it only increases the transient on the acoustic guitar when the kick drum is being played. So we'll go and activate our sidechain here. And on our kick track, we'll go ahead and create a send for the sidechain of the EnvelopeShaper that's on our acoustic track. Go ahead and solo our kick sample in our acoustic track to see how the kick affects the EnvelopeShaper through the sidechain. This time, we could hear how it only increased the level of our sound when the kick drum was being played. Now let's take a listen to it in the mix. As you could hear, we've really been able to gain balance between our kick drum and our acoustic guitar in a very musical way, and we were able to add a little bit of extra motion to our guitar. Stay with us in the next section where we'll be exploring how we can use all of these dynamics plugins together in a mix.